none of that shit. These niggas got Cash App up on they joint if they while you talking. Y'all don't see the Cash App, please like. I just don't understand how you gonna tell nigga to
force advertising.
Yeah, you let somebody gonna press like for your show, they gonna press like. If they wanna offer you bread or something like that, but to me, if you this God, you shouldn't need it. You just coming to share your word. You're not really coming to you know what I mean? This is your word you want to speak from, and you get a vibration and you speak. What do that got to do with somebody Cash Apping you something, support my channel? And they'll literally be on there, be like, I don't see it. Yo. And then you hear people sending them money, they'll be like, thank you, thank you. And these people are living off of that, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you could wind up, think about this. If you got 1,000 followers, and just ask them to send you $10. Come on.
Yeah.
That's a living. You making a living, you know what I'm saying? So
and you getting that every month.
There you go, man. People think small donations is 20. Yeah, that's 2,000 people sending that nigga $20. Yeah, they're gonna make it light because they're looking at how many views they get, how many subscriptions they get. And if they got motherfucking 2 million people following them, what happens if you ask half of them 2 million people to send you $1? You got $1 million. Just $1. You know how many people just push their Cash App? What's $1? What's $1?
Leave it right there in that motherfucking account.
You just leave it in that account, man. You know that.
You
know how easy I could do that, man. But then, to me, it takes the soul. Once you ask for money on the channel that you distributing knowledge in or enlightenment, it takes it away. If I want to do that, start selling products, I'll direct you to my business channel now. I'm selling goods. I'm doing this. But to me, the magic is more like reverence. Once they got you.
But don't the ROS come someplace in that part where you have to pay taxes on that?
They be legitimate accounts, and then like a lot of them get non-profit accounts. They're like institutions.
Okay.
You can fill out for non-profit too, so you don't really have to answer too much to
make sure them niggas don't come up on your ass.
Yeah, man.
After you gonna hit $1 million and shit, them niggas be knocking at your door.
See, the magic is after the reverends and preachers back in the days. Remember we go to next thing you know, you hear something, the preacher is an alcoholic or they got Cadillacs. That started in Christianity and the cathedral religions. So, you know, the sexual allegations that they put now on the conscious nation, I was just checking out. I'm not going to say it's true or false. I'm not surprised with none of this because once I see any organization, I'm not going to put it on them, performing magic with their words. You can use your words. You can be a magician with your words, but you could be a soul magician, a good magician. You can tell somebody kind things that can heal them, or you can tell them evil things. I trust a lot of people get to a certain thing on their platform, a certain status, and they realize that they got people hooked. Man, this person's loving me. You know, I can show you the DMs I get, man. I love you. This is Studs. Could we come in town to meet you? This and that. And I'm like, I don't really do meet and greets. You know, you got my YouTube. You looking at it. There's nothing to join. You don't got an application, nothing. Don't Cash App me nothing. If I'm really from God, then I should be healthy. I should have a little bit of money. I should be taken care of. And I'm just going to spend my time giving. Of course, we got to make money. Yeah. So you separate your channel and then tell them you got goods over here. But you can't get that in the ceremony that people is coming to get their soul right. Then you wind up asking them people for money. That's just like the pot going around in church.
Yeah.
So you got to remember, if you want to charge the conscious nation with that, and all of these are Christians, majority probably Christians, doing shows on YouTube about the conscious nation, and Brother Polite and them, who I am not protecting, who I am not in support of, who I've never been a part of the conscious nation. I've always separated myself. I don't know whether those allegations on all them brothers are true or false. You know, I will care because there's a young child involved or children involved. I will care to that extent. But if they get served the full justice of the law, and then that's on them. Shame on them for doing this. But you can't start there because if you are a person of Christ or a person of Islam or Judaism and you're making these shows, why didn't you leave the Christian world when you heard of all the reverends and pastors that were having sex with their congregation? Why didn't you leave the Catholic world that represents Jesus and leave the Catholic world or march or do a YouTube about the popes and Catholic priests all throughout history fundling and being arrested and charged and serving time.
Just getting locked up.
Right, on molestation of little boys. Why don't you have a thing going on to get rid of their channel or to get rid of the Catholic world of religion? You know what I'm saying? Because
this right here,
you're going to start it at the Enlightenment, and you can't charge all the conscious brothers for that. There's not everyone in the conscious nation that's about that. They're really trying to get their message across. So the question you wanted to ask me, I'll clear myself up. You go ahead and ask, man. I'll clear it up. I'll clear it up.
Okay, well.
You know, about the conscious nation, or how do I feel, how do I want to separate myself, or something like that. I'll separate myself from them, because I don't want no one to think that I tolerate that kind of behavior just because you might see me not find no one guilty before they've been found guilty.
Yeah.
And that's all. I just want to separate that. I'm not on nobody's side. I'm just not on condemning nobody, because I also know the power of COINTELPRO. I also know the power of the Hoover movement, J. Edgar Hoover, when he started that movement of watching us.
Yeah.
And if they can't get nothing on you, they'll set you up.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They'll set you up. This is not just in this world. This is with drugs or whatever. Hey, what's that in the back of your car? And they just plant some drugs. So that form of operation has always been in effect. And in this situation with the brother Polite, I just don't leave that out, because it's an intellect, powerful brother teaching people.
And this is, excuse me, cut you off, but this is the
conscious nation.
Not the conscious
that I'm
nation.
speaking of.
The little girl. This is his biological daughter, or a stepdaughter.
It was a stepdaughter. It was a stepdaughter, they're saying. But you know, if you look at the whole case, on both ends it looked fishy. So I don't want to even get into it. But I'm just not quick to condemn, because I do know the powers of the government. And when you're trying to spread enlightenment, we're all being watched. Even the ones with these YouTube channels that's reporting everything, you're all being watched. You're all being used.
But slowly they got the hospital records and the
they got
reports and all
semen.
of
They're
that,
saying that they have semen. Yes.
So if they got all of that,
right.
You can't even justify the situation of what's going on right now.
Right.
Only thing you can do is say, if you believe in what you're basically preaching, come out and tell the truth.
Well, me, like I said, I can answer that question, but I wouldn't answer it mortally like the regular human would, because I am a master geneticist, and I know that DNA could be manipulated too.
Yes,
they can have my DNA right now from anywhere and use it for a scene tomorrow, and then bring it up. And yes, you will show other scientists a match.
Okay.
But you have DNA disorders. It's been proven that if we make DNA everybody's going to get locked up. And remember, this is still a laboratory, just like with evidence and police switching evidence. You can play around with DNA and come out, and once that DNA scientist comes out and said it, it serves as God now. And these are to people who don't know genetical manipulation, who don't know that this could be DNA that they had already. And, you know, said it.
I got two questions to your theory that we're talking about.
And not saying that happened. It could be Polite's DNA.
I understand that.
But I just look at things objectively.
Then you got to also look at the statement that the 14-year-old girl made. Why would she lie on something that basically has the DNA and everything else according to it? Right. And the second thing is, he's making his money on YouTube and everything like that, but the bread that he's bringing in and the words that he's giving out here, it's nothing that's a threat to society in somewhat. You know what I'm saying? For them to really reach out and say, we're going to set this nigga up, because 5 years down the line from now, this nigga can be one of the biggest preacher out here to society to disrupt what we're trying to do out here. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to me, honestly, if they have them 3 symptoms right there, evidence on him, the girl statement, the DNA, and basically other shit on him, he needs to basically understand this. If these people are following you and taking this money like this, and if you really believe what this person is saying, you're going to do the research, and if you find out like what you're telling me about this guy, I am no longer affiliated with him. Because
well, let me you got a lot of questions in there. One thing I want to reach back on what you said about him not being a threat. Let me teach all so-called black people something, and it's what I mentioned earlier. YouTube or the internet or this means of communication now is worldwide, global.
Yep.
Okay. So if someone could come on here and you have over maybe 100,000 to 300,000 internet millionaires because they got on here and a product spread, that's becoming a threat in the apparel world.
Yeah.
Right? Any black man, so-called black man, who's coming out, and I told you, he speaks with an enlightenment and uplifting people and getting them to think, and he has programs to teach you how to invest your money, and people were getting rich behind this. That's a threat. So I would denote what you said. It is worth the government's time. It was worth the government's time for Marcus Garvey. It was worth their time for the Nation of Islam. It was worth their time for every other black organization that starts to come in and quiet us when we're not on a governmental level. We don't have armies. So what made them a threat was the potential. So anytime I'm on here, and I just finished saying, even the reporters of this that's talking about polite, you're under a government threat. It's a COINTELPRO. It's a system that they have in line for what's called opposite boule, opposite niggas who ain't house niggas. They're watching you, period, because you're not sharing that so-called governmental American dream thought. You're not actually against America, but you're not for America, and you're for changing people's minds. And anybody that's doing something like that will be considered a threat. You understand that? So, definitely understanding what you're saying, but it's tricky.
Yeah.
It's very, very tricky. But I just say here at So Future, like I just finished stating, my thing is just to watch, listen, and if you want to do what you want to do at home, you got a house, man, he said grow grass. He says to do this. He says to buy certain kind of plants. He says to stop reading so many books and pay attention to yourself. Dr. Sebi, right, is dead because he merely taught people how to heal themselves. So what if somebody would have said, you ain't a threat, Sebi, all you doing is telling people, yeah, but think about now the pharmacy world. That's like saying you got a cartel out here with drugs for 10,000 a key, and here you come with drugs for 5,000 a key, and it's better, and you think because you don't have more money than them or you're lower than them, you're just starting it out, you're not a threat?
Yeah,
you understand? Any intelligence is a threat. Nobody wants you saying Christopher Columbus didn't discover America to European people. Nobody wants nobody saying, certain things. The sun is not as far as away from the earth as you think. If you debunk the norm, you're a threat, because we're under a normal generation of just believing in God, believing in getting a job, working 30 years, paying for your home. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Put your kids through college. Make sure they don't go to jail. Teach them the right thing. And as long as you're doing that, as long as you paying for that college and reading their books that's under this system, as long as you have to fast food it all your way through that because you never can settle down running all around, as long as you have to work and get on the train, get on the bus and feed their system, as long as you have to get your paycheck, pay your cell phone bill, the iPhone bill, pay that rent, pay that bill. You all work for them anyway. That's the vibration of the regular world. Anyone comes and breaks that vibration and saying, you don't have to work a 9 to 5, here's some stock tips. Here's a YouTube, you can merely get a channel, and that's what happens. People don't break out of that norm. So when somebody comes to break them out of that norm, yeah, you're definitely a threat. And I'm trying to break you out of that mindset, so I know I'm definitely a threat. But I've always said, the lesser the more. Less is more. I don't have all those views and all that they have in the hundreds of thousands, because I don't have that platform, and I didn't reach for it because my idea wasn't to get all those people, then to get money. You're fake to me if you know you got 20,000 subscribers and you went on a campaign of paying YouTube ads and all that to get people to subscribe, or you outside and see your friend, just press your phone, subscribe to my channel. That means you don't really have a message to get across to nobody. You just want to see views. I don't want to see that. My channel is a private channel that's public, meaning I don't reach for platforms because I'm not trying to get nobody's money. So you got to be careful of these people that's coming and want to have a big platform when your job is just to reach as many people as you can. And if you got 100 views or 100 subscriptions, that should be good enough for you, because your money should be coming from your own means and not the people. See, all black people get together, build these stations, build these networks, and they go right back to black people who they already teaching you are the most oppressed people, are the most behind people financially, but they go right to them to get money. You know why? Because they plan on the ignorance and the weakness of these same people. So they become magicians when they start seeing people text them all of this fabulous stuff. Oh, Polite, you was in a Ferrari. Why you was in a Ferrari? Oh, Polite, I seen you take a picture with a white girl. I never seen them say hate white people. I teach that you're genetically different. I don't say you're not going to see me in a picture hugging a white person that might have walked up to me and said, man, I like your work. I'm not a racist. Such and such, man, you give off good energy. A lot of people need to hear that. And I give her a hug and you catch that picture. You don't know what that hug is about. But you can place it on the internet and say, look, Apex hug white people. So I tell you now, you're going to always see me hug white people, hug green people. I'm a humanist. I'm here for the people. I just teach my children of my son. We're a select different group. And we don't have to use the words better or this. I just teach you genetically who you are differently and how to move differently. And to still, if you're this much of a people, of you the God people, then how could you turn around and hate or dislike anybody? Then you're not the chosen one. I can turn around and look outside the gate that I locked. If anybody need from that's not in this family, still can come to me for help, advice, or anything. I just teach so futurists to not genetically or sexually get involved with any other race. We don't got to narrow it down to Europeans, anything outside of carbon people, children of the sun. I just urge that it would be better for you to mate within your own race, and I don't tolerate it here. But I'm not against it. Anybody want to leave and say, I like white people, well, then you go ahead. You know, we'll attend your wedding from behind. We love you and all of that. I like white people, you know what I'm saying? I have love for some white people. They're not going to teach you in slavery the white people who, before Harriet Tubman was freeing slaves, to the point where their husbands whipped them and was beating them up, or they had to leave their husbands because they didn't want their husbands being a slave master. They was against that, owning slaves and all that. And there was a lot of white women that were helping us get away before the Harriet Tubman story was brought to our light. That got brought into our light in history, but before that, you got white people, the men and everyone that didn't participate in it even at that time. But you're not going to hear that because they're trying to promote a certain amount of racism. A lot of us, we see white people all day. You don't see us attacking them. Even when we start seeing them 20 and 30 years ago, we say, white people. But we didn't go and attack nobody or nothing like that. And white people here know it. I mean, white people, you see, you walk to Colombia, you walk here, you ain't trying to, and they get here, and I'm glad they get here and see what they seen on the news wasn't real. Because it's like some of these channels, they're trying to get you to battle. You know, so, you know, the conscious nation is taking a hit. And I just urge people to don't look at all people of intellect like that. Yeah, you check records, you check people, but you got no business falling in love with intellect. You know what I mean? I tell you, I get on my DMs all the time, strange behavior, and it's mostly, you know, from women, never from men. Mostly just from women alone. The men are texting, yo, good work, God, you know, peace, God. But the women are, I hate to say it, a lot of the black women are so weak. They're texting in, you know, they want to have sex. Can I have your baby? You somebody I want to have a baby with because of your intellect. We can raise the baby and the son. Weird shit of, you know, I might put up a joint smoking. Wow, you broke my continence. I saw you smoking weed. And you got people that's going to get into people who just wanted to do good in their life, put something good up, and you're going to expect something else out of them. You're going to expect them to be perfect. You're going to not expect them to spit on the floor, not expect them to litter, not expect them, and we ourselves are still rising, you know what I'm saying? So when people start looking at intellects or people on YouTube, pastors and stuff, as their God figures, like they're not people that go and shit and piss and make mistakes and argue in their house with their wives, then you might as well never go out and do nothing good, because somebody could find any bad you did or times you were a bad person and be like, she fronting, that person used to do this, that person was bad about this. So do that mean your works that you're trying to get over here is not good? You know what I'm saying? So that nation is taking a hit, but I urged people a long time ago, 2-3 years ago, man, to watch out for brothers who are going to use the intellect to start having sex with these girls, women, little girls, or whatever. I'm nothing to join. We're not no nation. We're going to give events, and you can get invited to that event for that day, and you can see our lifestyle, our dances, the games that we've created, the clothes that we've made up for people, the consciousness, the enlightenment that we have for people. Real, true consciousness, because I teach you, I can make you conscious, right? But I can make you evilly conscious, right? I can feed you black magic. So when you hear of a conscious nation or anything, you gotta know what Don't be fooled by the word conscious. You know what I'm saying? So, again, I don't think all them brothers and sisters in the nation should take a hit because of this, but I think it's something that should be looked at, and we should protect these little children out here from predators, pedophiles, and things of that nature. And it is ironic that a lot of this, people are reviewing and doing research, and it's coming up on these guys' records. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I ain't backing it. I'm not backing it. I'm the one that's going to wait. No matter what evidence has been presented, no matter what they say, I'm not going to believe, I'm not going to non-believe, I'm not going to trust it, I'm not going to non-trust it. I'm going to wait for the gaffle to sound, right? And even when the gaffle sounds, we are under a vibration to automatically say, along with DNA, well, he's been found guilty, right? I can go, you can go, and it'll take you maybe a year to finish pulling up the cases where the gaffle is sound, and they had to reverse it because the person was locked up illegally for so many years. But the gaffle had sound. So this person had to be, you know, guilty. So that can't even lock in people's head. DNA can't lock in your head because that's what niggers, black people, are doing. It's so-called smart black people with channels call themselves reporting news, and they're going by DNA because they don't know what I just talked about earlier. They're not a genetical nothing. They're blabbermouths. They're gossipers is what you see on YouTube now. And there's more men than women. You don't supposed to be on YouTube gossiping. Think of the streets. They're all rats. Because in the streets, when shit like that happens, you don't go make a page about it. Nigga, like, why you gossiping? That shit happening? Keep that quiet. Niggas even come around mumbling. You ever heard about what happened with Thingy? You might hear a nigga go like this, like, you know. That ain't to be talked about like that. And look at all these people with these channels. Even the men, if you're reporting stuff, that something happened, and all these intelligent brothers that's doing this reporting, they know genetics. They know this could be falsified. They know about the government programs to set so-called black people up. They know this, but they're not giving a hint of that because this hot topic, these hot topics on polite and all that dirtiness, they're loving that world. Tupac taught them something. All press is good press. Tupac taught people something. You don't worry about it. All press is good press. And they're seeing them views when they do shows like this. When they go talk about their regular shit, the views drop because that's how much Satan got this world. So I'm just enlightening people here through Soul Future. Don't be one of them people that condemn. They have so much of a technology. They've been doing it. Wesley Snipes in the 90s played in a movie. It's a Chinese movie. I forgot the name of it. Over in Korea or China. Where they duplicated him. Looked like he did a crime, but they were so nice even back then with the camera work that it made it seem like he was there. You know what I'm saying? Stuff and things of that nature. So you got people that's gonna, oh man, how do with the DNA, right? With the girl saying this, right? Then let's go to the Dr. York cases. Not backing anybody. Let's go to the regular cases. Let's go, what's up? What's up, Let's go to the regular cases in society where people have come in later and said, yeah, the government told me to say this. Look at the Michael Jackson cases where people said stuff. Then retracted it later because they admitted that they were forced to, or the government coerced me to say this. I was able to write books and all that, but then the truth comes out later. I'm not saying to give any of these guys a pass. I'm saying look at everything objectively with the information you know. And with me knowing that some of these guys know this information and they're not allocating it, bringing it out, I wonder why. Why you're not giving these brothers a fair shot? They're running like mortals and saying, oh, look, the DNA. You know, why would the little girl say, oh, look, he had her in the hotel. Now, there's stuff that I can even say, yeah, what the fuck she doing in the hotel with him? All right, but still be powerful enough to not sink in on that and still look at the other side. That's why they get convicted. You don't want a juror like you people that hear that one thing and everything else gets debunked, but you do got one thing that makes you say, why was he with her? You know what I mean? And you go with that. So even with the gaffle sounding, you can bring up thousands of cases where people had been released from jail because people did their work and was forcibly sent to the death chair, forcibly doing 19 and 20 years and stuff like that. I just say they shouldn't, you know, what are you doing around a child? That's all I'm saying. If you come to my event and you got a 14-year-old with you, must be with parents or something like that, you know what I mean? So I'm not gonna get into even with the R. Kelly thing with the parents, the girls, well, they should have did this, they should have did that. I just tell everybody, look at everything objectively. That's all I tell everybody. Look at everything objectively and just try to hope for the best and stay out of those positions where you put yourself around children. What are you doing around children anyway? Yes, that should be questioned. Period. What are you doing talking about you're going to take a little girl to a club or anywhere to talk to her, and you're supposed to have money on your own land, or in the mother agrees? All of that looks fishy.
Excuse me, guys.
You know what I mean?
For 1430. Is the entry?
Walk down there. You'll make a
Okay, got it.
Yes. You know, all of that stuff looks fishy. You know what I'm saying? So we just gotta, and like I said, if you don't change the minds of people, people are still going on ignorant because they're going on smart. And they think they're being smart by looking up court documents and showing it, and now they putting their laptops in front of their things, which is a good way. I might do that to show people, but you're thinking this paperwork is fact. Just like they think science can help you with the psychology of life, or with the soul or spirit part of life. No, science is just for this world. If something is scientifically true doesn't mean it's holistically true. Has nothing to do. It's two different worlds. Science, your chemistry set and all of that, that can't come with you there. You understand what I'm saying? So even science, our chemistry, I had to take Soul Future through it because it brings you to a certain amount of earthly proof. But when you get somewhere else and the weather change, the same experiments you did here ain't gonna work there. And they know this. So they're doing science, chemistry, all that, biology, physicians. All of this is to rule this world. This belongs to Satan because all you need to do is think, go out, and that's all you need. That's it. There's no laboratory there. You don't need to mix and mess. You're within everything that's in the universe. And I try to live there. And you can learn all your alchemistry and science there because it's too tricky here. You could sit 50 brothers near me right now. Much as I study the periodic table, different periodic tables, they can come up with things that I don't know. Much as I've read, they can come up with stuff I don't know. Much as experiments I'm learning now, and on my in my telescope and on my in my microscope, as much as things as I'm doing when I go up to Colombia, when I visit certain people that I know that allow me to start teaching me to actually look at an atom. If you think you split an atom and you got down to particles and life begins here, that's the theory of life. That came in with the theory of God. That came handed to you. There's a God, there's a one power. Out of the darkness came the light, or a Big Bang theory. There's certain things in life that were set in already for you to so-called believe or just come up with. And that goes down to getting a job, 401k, pension, retiring, and nothing. You understand what I'm saying? And even if you're a Bible reader and God told Christ all his days will be 120, and you should be striving for that 120. You work yourself to retire at 65 or 70, already giving a future thought you're going to do nothing from there. You think you worked already. You ain't been here but a second. 65, 70, you ain't done nothing. Your work might just be starting. But they got you thinking it's ended through a thing called money. You can't retire with God on money and a pension and a 401k plan. That didn't serve God. You understand what I'm saying? That didn't have no spiritual essence to it. So when God checked your clock with him, and your clock with all your work out, it's too heavy. You ain't got no spiritual time, and when did you think for yourself? And I think a lot of people are gonna be messed up. And if you start thinking right and bringing moral principles into your program, into whatever you're doing, your way of life, start off with morality. Man, y'all gotta see this thing that I'm putting together. It's a beautiful way of life where we cook for each other, where it's not all of these wives. I don't have 2 and 3 wives. I'm not with that's what you asked me. What did I feel about having 2 and 3 wives? Remember?
Yeah.
That's what it was. And I said, I have trouble with the one I have now. Right? You're a man, you just laugh.
Yeah.
Think of the trouble you have with your wife or ex-wife, right? Imagine 2 of them motherfuckers in the house. Are you kidding me? Nah, man. People are using that wrong, and they're going back to the Bible and actually using a quote in the Bible when God saw the woman of man, and he went unto her and he bore her, and took her all he have chosen, something like that. They're actually saying that you can force yourself on a woman now because of this Bible quote.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying it's all right And now this, and it's ironically, this don't come from them. It comes from the Bible. So if people knew their Bible that's talking this bullshit and got a Bible up in their house and it's open and they love that Bible, well, in that Bible, Mary's spouse was Joseph, I believe, who was like anywhere from 60 to 80. That was her spouse. She was living with him. And she was 13 years old. And then an angel Gabriel appeared to her, who was an angel. But then she started talking to him and veiled herself, and this same angel became a bearded man, right in the Bible, and taught her of a baby of Christ, and then he went in unto her and had sex with this 13-year-old girl. This is the Bible. Now, if you go to, I think it's Leviticus in the Bible, the laws, you'll go to, right to the Bible, homosexuality is an abomination. It's an abomination. Don't supposed to be, no two men. God didn't say it's not right for the man to be alone. Let him get another woman. Let him get another man. You were introduced to Eve at that point, right?
Yep.
But all of these same people that read this, if you say you're against gay, LBGT, whatever that crew is, all people will come out and get you. You got people backing their child that's gay, but got Bibles in their house. This is called a wayward society. In the Bible, it denounces any form of homosexuality. Any form of homosexuality, right? So what's going on here in the world today? Who's backing it? But people who are Bible holders. So who the fuck is the devil but the Bible holders? Anybody with a YouTube channel pointing at Polite, Dr. York, any pedophile, Oprah Winfrey's friend, Weinstein, any of them, any of you people that read the Bible and love the Bible, in your Bible, they got it from your Bible that you love so much. Because in your Bible, she was the Virgin Mary, a virgin, at 13, no more than 14, and they had her living with a spouse called Joseph. He was mad that she was pregnant. Like, what you mean you pregnant? I didn't, we didn't have sex. You didn't tell me you was pregnant when we had sex. Oh, she was 13 years old. The man, Gabriel, read your Bible at the part where, if you're going to go in and ask Siri who y'all go to, the Bible quote, King James Version, when the angel Gabriel appeared to Mary to tell her about a child of Christ. And he was the angel at one time, and then he became the man where he was bearded, and then prove to yourself that she was 13. And you tell me what he went in unto her mean. And if you don't get it from that way, you tell me why her spouse, Joseph, was 60 or 70 years old and she was married to him. This is Islam. This is what they teach. This is all over the planet. If you're in certain parts of China, and you a shop owner and you mess up my shirt, don't you know in China it is lawful or it's reasonable for you to offer me your child, your 13-year-old daughter?
Oh, yeah?
That's in China, yes. That's in certain places. You can offer them your child as a slave for a mistake you made.
Yeah.
You understand this? Go all over the Islamic world, or when y'all go over there, you see these 14-year-old, 15-year-old girls being handed these Muslim men that's 70 and 80 years old. This is chosen marriages. Nobody over there saying, well, she's 13, 14. I don't agree with it, but I'm showing you this is the culture. This is what's going on this planet. You understand what I'm saying? So condemn your Bible too, along with condemn homosexuality too, because God said so. But your God is the devil. So you agree with this. And his kingdom is LBG, it's a lesbian, lesbian gay, something movement. And that's Satan's army, right? That protects his gay people. Because you can't say nothing about gay people, or you going down.
Yeah.
So they're making it so powerful to where it's becoming crazy for you to even defend it. Some places, don't you know, if you got a shop and the LBG, whatever that is, come out and you know it, because I don't pay attention to that faggot shit or that kind of stuff. And I'm not one that's gonna be like, oh, excuse me. No, I'm against it. You watch the house nigga that know he's against it, but then he excuses himself. Well, I'm against it, but to each his own. No, to each his own. You're going against the Bible. You're going against universal law. You can't say to each his own. You got to stand firm and not give a fuck what they can take from you or what they're going to say about you.
Yeah.
Because you should know you ain't got nothing hidden that they can go and find. So why you niggas saying this? I don't agree with it. It's non-biblical, but to each his own. You can't stand with me. Fuck you mean to each his own. It's a backward society. I wouldn't be here if my mother said she wanted to be gay and said to each his own. If my father wanted to be gay, putting his dick in a man's ass, he would have never had a baby. So these are hypocrites that are here by way of non-homosexuality relationships. You got to have life. But now you're hypocritical, so now you want to stunt life, you want to be a marcher of stunting life, you want to take birth control pills, you understand? You want to be down with this gay shit that you know can't produce no more babies, like God told you to, Adam and Eve, to be ye fruitful and multiply. What happened? You got your Bible in your house? You got your Bible in your car? You're not going by your Bible, you're going by YouTube gossip. And that's all you see here. So anybody with these report channels, and it's sad because it's more men than women. So in the streets, you couldn't do stuff like this. Get a channel and somebody walk down and say, yo, he over there with a group of people, like he's holding a little station and talk about the drug case that happened yesterday when dude got shot. Like, what? You don't even talk about that. You hear it? Now y'all putting up channels, calling people snitches, 6ix9ine and all that, right? But you're ratting. This is right. Once you give a personality that you think somebody's guilty, that you know is going to court and haven't been found guilty, you're ratting on him. You're giving more reason for a juror or somebody to call him guilty because they're seeing people that think they're guilty speaking about it. So who are these people? I'm on YouTube only doing this, Soul Future, only doing this. I'm not going to gossip. I don't want no news station reporting nothing that happened. Y'all know the latest. I did my research, check this out, because all that shit is garbage, man. All that shit is garbage. So yeah, man, let me end this here, Soul Future. I thank you, my brother. For you know what I'm saying? I appreciate you. But I end this here at Soul Future, and I am Soul Future, and I speak for the futurists. We here at Soul Future do not back any kind of illegal activity, let alone pedophilia or anything of the such. We're moving into a new way of life. We're moving into living off the earth and planting, hugging trees, making dish detergent, making soap powder, making our own soaps, making our own laundry detergent, sewing up our own shirts, building small factories. We're into buying sewing machines and taking it back. We're not into the cell phone movement. No cell phones on our land. We have, like you have parking lot, half a space out. We have maybe quarter of a mile out where you have to park your cell phone so the vibrations won't get in. We're into rhythm and tone and vibration. We're into just being in peace with each other. And if anyone wants to be angry or do anything, yes, you can go out into the world and be angry. And as futurists, you know, you come back and get a guideline, but there's no more than 10 or 15 of us. I have my own wife. We're not teaching multiple wives. I'm not doing that here. One woman is enough. And we have the other powerful woman that's around us. That's our balance. That's my balance. Non-sexual activities. It's platonic. It's a galaxy that we're in. And I again, the soul mother here is Aisha Torre. I have my one wife. I have my one soulmate. And that's it. And I tell y'all now, I've always spoke like this, and I've always taught this. I've always spoke this way, and I've always taught that it's not a membership. We don't need to be in a gathering. You listen, make it your way of life, and when we come out to display our way of life in Soul Future, you're invited. You get to see us on display in our lifestyle. We're into making movies. We're going to make movies. There's going to be videos. We're going to have people that write. We're going to have artists, you know, painting. We have our own games that we made up, no American type games, mental recreational games, Mr. Act program, created by the Soul Mother, Aisha Torre, Mental Recreational Activity Centers. And we are now speaking from our own platform that we are not backing any conscious nation or any other nation that's anti-government or anti-children or anti-crime. We are striving in our walk to do better every day. We're not perfect, but we're striving to be perfectionists. And again, we stand alone. We are not a community. We're not a nation. We're not none of that. We are a vibration. We are a mindset here at Soul Future. All you can do is listen. There's nowhere to join. And if you want to subscribe, you are subscribing to listen. If you want to make a comment, you feel free to comment. The only thing you can look forward to is us giving the event and you coming out and we're showing you and hugging you and giving you our vibration of what positive people are on this earth. That's not into gossip, that's not into pointing fingers. We're just not in that part of the YouTube, Instagram world. We're on YouTube just doing this, okay? So be careful of gossipers and all that energy coming through your phone. don't even subscribe or look at these channels anymore, because one is just as worse as the other because they're pointing fingers, all right? Apex Solar 1, we out, man, all right? We stand alone here at Soul Future, and we do not tolerate anything, any allegations, anything. We're not behind these nations. We don't have anything going on with them. In the past we haven't, nor will we in the future. And that's just what it is, all right? We try to stay positive here, mind, body, soul, and thought. Soul Future.